Formula One fans love to argue about rivalries like it's a personality trait.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But Senna versus Prost wasn't just competitive beef. It was two human operating systems refusing to coexist. Prost drove like he was calculating taxes mid-corner, calm, efficient, emotionally unavailable. Senna drove like the universe personally insulted him and he needed revenge by Sunday afternoon. Same cars, same garage, zero emotional compatibility. Every lap felt like a passive-aggressive email thread at 300 kilometers per hour. This wasn't racing for fun or even trophies anymore. This was about proving who deserved oxygen. When they became teammates at McLaren in 1988, the car was so dominant that winning races was easy, and that somehow made everything worse. The problem wasn't the car, it was the people inside it. Prost believed championships were won by finishing every race, saving tires, and staying out of trouble. Basically treating chaos like it was Pierre Gasly's greasy forehead. You see it coming and you avoid it. Senna believed consistency was fine, but obsession was better, and if there was a gap, it meant go now.
Okay, let's go.
Prost drove calmly, always thinking about points and the full season. Senna drove like every lap was personal, pushing as if lifting the throttle was illegal. Prost wanted control. Senna wanted total domination. The garage wasn't just tense, it felt like one bad radio message could start a civil war. Engineers were building the fastest car on the grid while talking carefully, like one wrong word would ruin the weekend. Winning races was easy. Sharing the spotlight without losing their minds was impossible.
This is the opportunity that Senna's looking for, and he's going to go out! Oh my goodness!
Suzuka 1989 was basically a blueprint for how to ruin your own season spectacularly. Prost was leading the championship, calm and calculating, while Senna needed nothing short of a miracle or absolute madness delivered by a pit crew on espresso shots. Late in the race, Senna charged into the chicane like gravity was optional and logic had taken a day off. Prost turned in, they touched, and suddenly both cars were just parked, like someone hit pause on reality. Prost steps out like he's leaving a boring meeting, fully aware the championship is his. Senna gets a push start.
Nice job, team.
Re-enters the track illegally. Crosses the line first, and celebrates like he just won Fortnite.
Wow, incredible!
Only to have it taken away moments later. The championship disappears faster than Leclerc's patience when Ferrari changes strategy at the worst possible time. Fans lose it, marshals panic, and the FIA looks like they're trying to explain quantum physics to toddlers. Formula One stopped looking like a sport and started looking like a high-stakes soap opera with better cars. Senna doesn't just simmer, he goes full nuclear. He publicly blasts the FIA like he's speedrunning a roast bias, corruption, favoritism, rules you're not supposed to question, all in one furious package.
It's over.
Prost, meanwhile, just watches like a guy who somehow survived the world's most stressful group project without yelling at anyone. Calm, slightly smug, secretly enjoying the disorder.
I can tell you he has done 100% deliberately. That's what I don't accept.
The FIA panics and starts tightening rules faster than Lando Norris running late to a press conference. Prost thinks maybe Ferrari will chill things down, so he moves there, hoping a little distance will cool the rivalry. Spoiler, it doesn't. Distance doesn't matter anymore. This isn't a racing drama, it's psychological warfare. Every interview becomes a minefield. Every awkward silence loaded with threat. Formula One stops looking like racing and starts looking like unresolved emotional damage strapped into a high-speed rocket.
Prost and Senna have made up their feud now, and we are waiting for the start of this 53-lap race.
Suzuka 1990 shows that subtlety officially retired. Same corner, same stakes. Senna decides the best strategy is lift, never heard of her.
How? Hold on, bro.
At the start, he drives straight into Prost like the track owes him a favor. Championship secured before anyone even blinked.
Come on, man.
Prost explodes with fury. Fans split into two angry camps, half screaming,
Justice served.
half screaming,
That's cheating!
and everyone else just scratches their head thinking,
Wait, is this still a race or a highly dramatic TV series?
there are no instincts left here, just premeditated mayhem executed at full throttle, and somehow it's the most entertaining thing Formula One has ever accidentally approved. The aftermath shook Formula One to its core. Drivers split into teams like a high school cafeteria fight, except instead of lunch trays, it was trophies and sponsorship deals. Officials were sweating bullets, rules tightened faster than a new tire under a rookie pit stop, and suddenly everyone realized that letting people race million-dollar rockets while their brains were still on break might not be the brightest idea. Modern drivers would crack under this pressure. Charles Leclerc, for example, would probably feel his neck stretching a full centimeter every time a car got too close, just from stress alone, turning a simple start into a full-on yoga session on wheels. Meanwhile, the rest of the grid just tried to survive the fallout and figure out whether this was racing or some kind of science experiment gone personal. Under all the shouting, finger-pointing, and FIA meetings that felt like emergency parents' evenings, there was something neither driver wanted to admit: respect. Prost knew Senna was terrifyingly fast in a way no graph, laptop, or engineer explanation could fully justify. Senna knew Prost could mentally disassemble you while calmly sipping water. Like a chess grandmaster watching you panic over a single pawn, they clashed because each one represented a nightmare version of the other. Prost feared unpredictability taking control. Senna feared being boxed in by rules and caution. Neither could fully dominate because the other existed as a constant reminder of what they lacked. That's the most exhausting rivalry imaginable. The kind that doesn't let you relax, ever. By 1993, Prost walked away. Senna wins his last championship, and suddenly the pressure evaporates. No rival in the next garage, no mind games, no benchmark staring back at him every weekend. Senna later admits Prost pushed him harder than anyone else ever did.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
That realization comes late, like understanding an inside joke years after the group chat moved on. What once felt like constant tension slowly turns into appreciation. It's like realizing the person who annoyed you the most was also the reason you leveled up at all. Imola, 1994, ends everything. Senna is gone. The sport freezes mid-sentence. Prost, once painted as the villain, becomes one of the voices speaking with the most clarity and respect. There's no dramatic ending, no final showdown, just loss. Formula One loses its arrogance that weekend, the noise drops, speed feels quieter, even modern drivers, built like they were designed in a superhero lab, suddenly feel very human, very breakable, and very aware that talent doesn't come with immunity. Looking back, Senna versus Prost wasn't about crashes or championships alone. It was a clash of worldviews, emotion versus calculation, belief versus preparation. Their rivalry forced Formula One to look in the mirror and admit things had gone too far. Cars became safer, rules stopped being optional suggestions, ego stopped getting a free entry pass. The sport didn't evolve because it wanted to mature, it evolved because it survived something it never wants to repeat. Every modern rivalry exists because Senna and Prost made sure nobody would ever be allowed to act like that again. Hamilton versus Rosberg came with rules, limits, and polite apologies that sounded forced. Verstappen versus Hamilton had drama, politics, and stewards hovering like disappointed parents. Nobody today can just decide to erase a championship with pure emotion and vibes. That privilege was permanently revoked. Senna and Prost didn't just cross the line, they erased it, highlighted it, and forced Formula One to install guardrails. Now rivalries come with boundaries, investigations, and press conferences where everyone says we'll review it internally. Is it real growth or F1 is adulting badly? They didn't break Formula One, but they absolutely put it in the stress position and waited to see what snapped first. The rivalry exposed everything the sport was pretending wasn't a problem. Unclear authority, unchecked egos, and rules that only mattered when someone complained loud enough. It was awkward, loud, and impossible to PR away. But that pressure forced change. Formula One either had to mature or keep pretending this was character building. Greatness doesn't arrive gently. Sometimes it shows up, flips the table, and makes everyone argue until the rules finally make sense. What makes their story legendary isn't the contact or the headlines. It's how painfully human it all feels. Pride blocking reason, obsession pretending to be confident, fear of wearing a helmet and hoping no one notices, two drivers chasing perfection and accidentally discovering consequences instead. It's proof that raw talent without limits is like driving flat out with no mirrors. Impressive at first, expensive later, and somehow always ending with someone saying, "Yeah, we probably should have handled that better." In the end, Senna and Prost didn't end Formula One. They ran a full-scale durability test without asking permission. The rivalry wasn't noble, tidy, or polite. It was real, and real things leave marks. The sport adapted, tightened up, and learned where the edge actually was. Those scars still exist, buried under safety tech, stricter rules, and enough archival footage to keep YouTube historians employed forever. This wasn't just competition, it was a warning delivered at full throttle. Winning without limits costs more than trophies ever show on a shelf. Formula One survived Senna versus Prost, but it never forgot them, because some rivalries don't just crown champions, they decide how far a sport is allowed to push itself before it starts doing permanent damage and calling it entertainment.